Here we go.
Here we get going.
William H. Macy begged the
man.
directors for his role. He did 2 readings for the part and became convinced he was the best man for the role. When they didn't get back to him, he flew to New York where they were starting production and said, "I'm very, very worried that you're going to screw up this movie by giving this role to somebody else. It's my role and I will shoot your dogs if you don't give it to me."
You know what the sad part is? We
shot their dogs.
just did that 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, or not Kevin Bacon game.
Yes.
And I just read all of his movies. I went through his whole list of movies because I could not think of anything that he was in.
Uh-huh.
No idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
Bakersfield PD. That was one I remember.
There it is. We have a winner. Okay, so William H. Macy stated in an interview that despite evidence to the contrary, he did hardly any ad-libbing at all, and most of his characters' stuttering mannerisms were written in the script exactly the way he does it in the film.
Fargo.
You got it.
Is it Fargo?
It is Fargo.
I've never seen Fargo.
You've never seen this movie.
I have not.
This is a great movie.
So, here's the reason I never saw it. So it came out when we were kids, right?
Yes.
What year did it come out?
I believe it came out 91 or 92. It is 96, actually.
96. What
So we were
year?
8.
What year did Misery come out?
Oh, I think that was the 80s, wasn't it? Or early 90s.
Was it?
It was 1990.
So I always thought Misery and Fargo were the same movie.
Oh, because they don't have any of the same cast members?
Because they both have snow. I don't know. That, like, so there was the
That's your
scene.
question?
There was the scene where she busts his ankles, right?
Right.
And then
Spoilers.
in Fargo, there's a scene where they put someone in a wood chipper, right? Is that a different movie?
No, that's the right movie.
And so this is another one where people were watching it in the living room. I would walk through and see like just random clips. Those are the 2 clips that I saw of both movies respectively. So I thought they were the same movie. And I was like, oh, I don't want anything to do with these. Like this seems awful. And, so I always, in my head, they were always the same. Until like recently, until the Fargo TV show came out, I realized that they weren't the same thing.
Yeah.
But I hear great things about Fargo. I just have never seen it.
So that's how I was. I didn't actually see it until probably about a year ago. It's one of those movies that is super famous and it's critically acclaimed, and I had no reason to not see it. I just never did. And finally it was about a year or so ago, I made a list of all these movies that I wanted to see that I just haven't done it. And it was like the first one on there. I was like, I don't even care. I'm just going to sit down and watch it. And I watched it and I was like, this movie is amazing. And I've seen it like twice since then.
Really? It's a comedy,
Yeah,
right?
It's a comedy, but also drama.
Okay.
But I wouldn't call it a dramedy. It's a comedy.
A comedy. Oh, yeah. Are you eating something?
I am opening a letter. It is melt time.
Why? Why are you opening the letter right now?
I just got it.
What letter is it? Who is it from?
I don't know. It's from Bakersfield Hyundai.
I sometimes I have this feeling that the podcast means a little bit more to me than it does to you. I don't know.
Don't act like you don't open your mail on the podcast. We all do it.
It's just such a weird time to see junk mail from Bakersfield Hyundai and be like, well, you know what? The podcast is the perfect time to open this.
Yeah. It just now arrived to me. So I literally opened it the moment I got it. It just happened to be while I was on the podcast.
You know it doesn't like self-destruct or anything, right?
I don't know that, not until I open it.
That's true. What did it say?
Well, I didn't read it. I didn't want to be rude. Anyways, Fargo. So I watched it. I loved it. Like the next day, I made Crystal sit down and watch it with me. I'm pretty sure she liked it. No? It was okay. She said it was okay. So whatever. And then like probably a couple weeks later, it happened to come on. Not on TV because I don't have TV. I found it on and I watched it again.
Yeah. Well, what is it about?
It's a great movie. So basically the gist of it is takes place in a small town. You guess it, Brainerd. It's right outside of Fargo, which is in Minnesota.
Gotcha.
Fargo, is it Minnesota or South Dakota? I think it's Minnesota.
California? Fargo, California.
Yes. It's funny because it's got some well-known people. It's got William H. Macy, Steve Buscemi, Frances McDormand. It's got Peter Stormare, and some other people. But everyone's got like a very heavy like Minnesotan accent, you know, almost Canadian.
Yeah.
Oh, you betcha. That's the best I got.
Yeah.
And so it's really funny, but basically what it's about is William H. Macy is married to this dude's daughter, and he works at a car dealership, and he's trying to do some deal with his father-in-law on some land and make some money, and basically his father-in-law kind of screws him over, and he doesn't give him the money, and he takes the deal like outside. So he comes up with this genius idea where he's going to fake kidnap his wife and demand ransom from the father-in-law to get money. And it starts out, and he's a real simple-minded fool, and it starts out real simple, and it just keeps escalating and escalating. At the same time, there's a cop. There's this pregnant cop who's on the case, who's following all these different, because it's a small town, so these occurrences they stand out basically. So it starts out small time as a fake kidnapping with a ransom. I want to say it was like $500,000 or something like that. And it ends up like people are getting killed and like lie after lie. And this guy's like going out of his way to like cover up his tracks, and it just gets way out of hand. It's insane, but it's funny at the same time. And then it does end with Peter Stormare shoving Steve Buscemi into a wood chipper to dispose of his body.
Nice. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, he gets caught though.
Oh, maybe it's not the good way to do it then.
No, it wasn't very clean, as you can imagine.
Well, I don't have to imagine. I've seen that scene before.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's basically it. And then it has spawned a TV show which has 3 seasons now. Have you seen the show at all?
I haven't. I wanted to watch the movie before I watched the show.
That's kind of where I was too. I knew the show was getting good reviews, so I wanted to watch it. And the show was pretty good too. It's got that same style, same everything. And each season is its own standalone story. And they kind of are loosely connected, and they're also connected to the movie. So that makes it cool, but it's not something that you have to see to really get the point of it. It's got the first season's got Martin Freeman in it. He's great.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I want to. I just haven't. I don't know.
I would definitely recommend it.
I have a hard time getting to everything that I want to see.
I would definitely make time for this movie.
Yeah.
I would. It's up there on my list.
So
because it's so crazy what this guy's willing to do to cover up, each previous lie and crime. And it's just like, it's way over his head, and he can't get out of it, but he's very persistent, William H. Macy.
Is it similar to the increasingly poor decisions of Todd Margaret? Is it like that?
I would say it's along those lines. Yeah. I don't think he's as straight stupid as that guy. He's just like he's a simpleton, and so basically his first wrong decision was hiring these 2 guys from out of town to do the actual kidnapping.
Yeah.
Which is Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare, and they're just like deadbeat criminal types, and I don't know, things just get carried away. It's pretty funny though.
Have you ever tried to hide something? Like, I know you're not really a criminal, but have you ever had anything where you're trying to keep it a secret and you just failed at it because you're incompetent?
Not that I'm willing to discuss. I haven't actually failed yet.
Oh, nice. I remember one time.
I feel like that was a trap, and if I revealed something like, well, this was the fail, you just revealed it on the podcast.
Well, I assume that you've got caught already. Kind of like the poop out the window story.
Yeah, I guess that's probably one of them. I was so close to getting away with it and no one knowing.
Which, by the way, if you haven't heard that, it's called Taylor's Greatest Adventure on this podcast. It's from a different podcast, but we re-uploaded it. The quality isn't great, but the story is insane.
You know what's the craziest part about that story?
What's that?
It's so wild, right? That if I had actually gotten away with it and then like no one ever found out about it, no one had any idea, and then I waited a couple years and I decided to tell that story, no one would even believe it. It's so ridiculous.
Well, even when I listen to you tell the story, it doesn't really sound like it happened. Like, I believe it because I know you and I know your family. Yes. And it's totally something you would do, but it's it's so hard to believe that there's a person in the world who would get to that point in their life thinking that this is the only option that I have is to throw poop out this bathroom window.
And it's funny because I didn't even see it as like the only option. It was like one of the first options. I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that.
It's so stupid. That would never ever cross my mind.
Like in reality, I probably could have just fished it out, wrapped it heavily in toilet paper, and just stuck it in the trash can.
Oh, that probably would have ended bad.
Well, see, so what would happen was I would have unclogged the toilet, which is what my original plan was, and then go back and then just flush it later.
Yeah.
Behind a locked door.
Did putting it in your pocket ever cross your mind?
No, that's ridiculous. What a crazy thing to say.
But the reason I bring it up was because when I was a kid, me and my cousin Zeke were in the bathroom with matches and hairspray, and we were doing torches. Like, so we were, making hairspray torches. And Indoors in the bathroom, yeah. And we accidentally caught a toothbrush on fire. And we put it out real quick and rinsed it off. And we didn't get caught, but the next morning, I can't remember who was in the bathroom. It might have been my mom. But my cousin, he goes, "Hey, why does that toothbrush taste like fire?" Thinking he was so funny and smooth. My mom was like, "What?" And I was like, "I don't know what he's talking about." I just walked away. But I was like, "What is wrong with you?" We got away with this stupid thing that we did. We almost burned down the entire house. And he pointed it out in the worst way possible. Like, he might as well have been like, this toothbrush seems like it was set on fire last night. Like,
I feel like this toothbrush has been on fire before.
Yeah, like, how dumb. Oh man, I was so mad. We were like 11 or something like that. Like, way too old. But, it was pretty funny.
That's great.
But, I
go ahead.
have an update to our Wanna See That sagas.
Okay.
I believe this was one that I said I wanted to see. It was The Foreigner with Jackie Chan.
Yes.
And I was actually on the In Sessions Film podcast to talk about this movie because I went and saw it for their podcast. And
how did that podcast go?
The podcast went great. The movie, not so much.
No?
No.
Oh, that's disappointing. I was looking forward to that.
Me too. I went into it thinking it was going to be like one of the better movies of this year.
Yeah.
Nope. It is not.
Because of the story or?
It's basically two different movies mashed into one. Like if they would have made a movie only focused on Jackie Chan, I think it could have been really good. If they would have made a movie only focused on Pierce Brosnan, I think it could have been really good. But they made a movie focusing on both of them, and it just did not work. It was not very good.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
It was pretty disappointing. But it'll probably be your favorite movie now that I've said that.
Absolutely. I do have a fire story.
Oh.
This one, though, I was not caught.
Was it the time that we smashed that air conditioning unit with a baseball bat and it blew up and we almost caught our faces on fire?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No? That's weird, because I have this really strong memory of that.
Yeah, I remember we could not find matches or any kind of lighting source. All we wanted to do was set a trash can on fire.
We did want to do that, but we beat that air conditioning unit and the electricity made this giant flash. And
No, I remember.
Oh, okay.
That was because that was like our last resort. We so badly wanted to destroy something.
Yes.
And we couldn't get any type of fire started, so we just were like, all right, we'll just beat this thing.
It was a really bad idea.
Oh, horrible. I don't know how we didn't die.
I don't even know if we should be talking about it, because I don't think the the statute of limitations is over for that. People. What's the statute? 7 years? How long has it been since that happened?
It was 2006.
Okay, we're probably good. I doubt whoever would care would be listening to this show, but it was not our best moment in our lives.
Also, yeah, we are from Texas. My name is Bill Bisquick. So if you're from Texas and you had that happen, it was us. If not, it's probably somebody else.
My name is Taylor Inkson from Bakersfield, California.
Yes. No, so real quick, when we lived in Derby Acres, which for those of you who don't know, you're lucky, we had this baseball lamp that would get really hot. And for some reason, me and my brother Joshua decided we wanted to try to roast marshmallows on it. We thought,
Joshua.
Are we booing Joshua?
Yeah, sorry.
For some reason, we thought we'd be able to roast marshmallows on the light bulb.
Who did?
And me and Joshua both.
Boo!
Joshua.
That was more the timing I should have done the first time.
So we tried it. It wasn't working. We ended up having to stick the marshmallows directly on the lamp. And it still wasn't really, it was kind of crisping up a little bit, but then the marshmallow was sticking.
Whose idea was this?
Probably mine.
You thought it would toast the marshmallows?
I thought it might. I was probably only like 7 or 8.
Oh, okay.
And so in doing this, we had to take the lampshade off, to get to the light bulb. Well, totally forgot to put it back on. And I think we were interrupted, right? And we were in a rush. So we just kind of tossed it down real quick. It landed on the bed and fell over. And we left I think we went to the store or something like that. Well, we were probably gone for about 30 minutes. We come back in, and as soon as I open my bedroom door, I can smell something not smell right. And I look and I see it, and it's still on, and it's laying over on the mattress, and it's burned a hole through the sheet, and it's like burning through the mattress, and it's smoking. It's not on fire, but it's smoking. So I run over there and I pick it up real quick, and I turn the lamp off. I think I tried to take the light bulb out like that was going to matter. So it burned through the sheet, through my blanket, through the mattress, and luckily did not catch our entire house on fire.
Nice. I have 2 fire stories.
Oh boy.
Which one would you rather hear?
You're listening to Firestarter here.
One involves marijuana. The other involves gum.
I think we're going to need the marijuana story.
So I worked for a company out in California, but it was like almost in Delano.
Which one was this?
It was a pump company. I only worked for them for 2 weeks. It was,
really?
Yeah, it was an irrigation pump company. And, I was like 18 at the time. And I worked with this guy who was an electrician, and he every morning would get high because he had back problems. And he's like, this is The only way I can like survive, this is like my medicine, if I just light up a little bit and I get, I feel better, I relax, I'm able to actually work. And it seemed always kind of like, oh, this isn't okay, but he seemed fine, so I didn't really worry about it too much. Plus I was 18 and I was new at the job, and so I was like kind of already fish out of water, like not sure what to do, and everyone was already ragging on me constantly, so I was like, didn't feel comfortable being like, hey, I don't really want to work with this pothead.
You want to be a narc?
Yeah. And, the biggest issue I had with it was that me and him had to go to job sites. So he was driving me around and all this stuff. And, he was kind of dirtbag. The pot may have nothing to do with what happened, but, he hooked up the trailer to the truck, and it was like, the trailers that gardeners use that is like big enough for a lawnmower and a couple things, but not like a full-size trailer.
Right.
It was one of those. And so he hooked it up to the truck, and we're going down the road. Well, he didn't put a pin in it. He just set it on top of the ball.
Oh, I think I vaguely remember this story.
Oh, I'm sure you do. I'm sure I told you when it happened, but we were getting off on the off ramp. So we're going up this little hill, and he hits a bump. The trailer bounces off and starts falling down the side of the off ramp, heading into the oncoming traffic. And, thankfully it slammed into a tree and broke and fell over, but it set the whole field, like a good chunk of the field on fire. So we both jump out, and I'm over there stomping out the fire with my boots, and I think he had like a shovel or something. He's like trying to snap it out. But we have to wait, and I think the police showed up, and we had to write up an incident report, or our boss showed up and we did it with him. I don't remember how that all worked out. But, I got back to the job site, and I told my boss, I was like, you know what? I'm out. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Like, this is, sorry, I appreciate it, but this isn't going to work out. And so I just quit on the spot.
Nice.
But the other one was, I found out, the paper that it goes on gum wrappers? So you have the tin foil and then you have the paper. Well, if you light those on fire, you can throw them at people, and they burn out pretty quick, but it's kind of scary. And I think it was you were running on a treadmill, and I would just light them, and I would throw it at you while you're trying to run on the treadmill, and you're like jumping over them, like freaking out. But I was doing that one time, and it set a piece of paper on fire that set a paper plate on fire and like my whole...
I remember that.
It was like a TV tray.
I remember the paper plate.
Yeah, the whole TV tray went like this giant fire, and I was like, oh no, I just set the whole house on fire. Like, I didn't think, I was like working so hard to like put it out, and I like couldn't figure out what to do. And thankfully everything just burnt off really quickly. But there was like a good 10 seconds where it was like, I just burnt this whole house down.
I just killed my family.
Yeah, cause it was when I was living at my grandma's house, and her house was, like 35 years old at the time, and the roof and just everything would have just gone up so quick. And,
it was
really bad. It was pretty dumb.
You would have lost the whole neighborhood.
Well, they definitely wouldn't have liked me anymore. That's for sure. I emotionally would have lost them. I don't think I would have burnt down the whole neighborhood, but.
You'd be surprised. Those are some old houses.
But yeah, so don't play with fire. That's a bad idea. Never works out well.
Nope. And always hook up your trailer.
Always hook up your trailer. But, yeah. So if you enjoy this podcast, if you like Fire Talk with Alan and Taylor, you can go over to Patreon and support us. We are still having the competition on Patreon that whoever is whoever is losing has to pay a punishment, pay a penalty, act out a punishment. Pay the piper. But yeah, so let us know who you think is a better person, or who you would rather see suffer.
That would be probably me.
I hope so.
I don't like where it's going already.
I am so excited about all of this.
You already have people lined up, don't you?
I'm in my head, I do.
If you've ever wanted to donate, now is the time. If you've ever wanted to make Alan look like a fool, or suffer. Now is your chance.
I don't think people want to see me suffer. People like me too much. That's what everyone tells me.
See, if you've ever wanted to make Alan suffer for having that confident attitude his whole life, now is your chance.
But yeah, reach out to us on Twitter at ISayThatPod. You can get a hold of me directly at AlanRJR.
And I am at Taylor E. Nixon.
And we will be back this week, sometime soon.
We will be back a week.
I never know what to say because our shows come out Wednesday and Saturday.
We will be back soon.
Also, on Patreon, you can hear all the episodes 2 weeks in advance, which is kind of cool.
Whoa, 2 whole weeks.